Hey guys, TJ Graney and
Rick McGee.
we got a KOZ TV. We're in Smithville, Texas, world headquarters, and got a little fire going here. Getting a little bit close because it's cool out tonight.
It's only so cool in Texas, but it is cool for Texas.
It is cool for Texas. No snow on the ground. No snow apocalypse. But we've been hanging out together, and we just went to this incredible event. It's the Dallas Safari Club convention. If you're a hunter, you've probably heard about it. But it is a huge convention where outfitters and manufacturers come, and hunters come and they buy trips around the world.
Right.
They buy the finest firearms. They buy silencers. There was the line was down the hall for the silencers. But it's the first big show of the year for the outdoor shows and these outfitters, and so it's one where people try and get the dates they want that year. And but one of the things it was the first time we ever had a booth. We typically don't do secular booths. It's not where we normally go to introduce KOZ, but
Not where we found you.
probably not. And but we had this. We really heard God say, "Hey, I want you here." He made a way. There's a waiting list of over 400 people for a booth at this event, and He made a way for us to have a little booth there. But the question when we were driving there and when we were on our way there, the question was, okay, what are we asking these guys? What are we going for? What does that mean? And God gave us the question, ask the guy when he's walking by or walking up, our intro question was, who taught you to hunt and fish? And we were blown away.
It was such a cut of the hunting community that were fathered by their dad or their grandfather, sometimes an uncle, but mostly dad or granddad, probably in the 90% range, 85, 90. Amazing responses of guys who are at the top of the hunting world in that arena were fathered. Their dad showed them how to hunt. It was amazing, the number.
And it really made me think, because I've been an outdoor journalist for years, it really made me think, are most of us trained by our dad? Now, Rick wasn't, and I wasn't, and you may not have been. But now that we have kids, and we take our kids, or took our kids when they were of the age, but are we missing the boy who doesn't have a dad? And that was the transition we went in with these guys. Hey, what happened for you is almost rare today. That so many of our boys today don't even have a dad in the house. Going hunting or fishing is not even a possibility.
That's right. And there was another eye-opening thing that happened, and that was how many of those men had their kids with them. Some of them were buying hunts with their kids, and some of them young men, youth, and young adults, and a bunch of guys just showing their young kids all these mounts. And so it was a beautiful connection that we would love to see for everybody, but we just know, and we all don't have that connection. And our response was, that's the space we're trying to set into. We're trying to step into how to help a boy who doesn't have that opportunity, doesn't have that dad, to how to help him. And it reminded us of the mission we're really on. It's for everyone, fathers and sons, but the fatherless boy is really where TJ came from when this all started.
Right, it was the little boys on my block that didn't have a dad that were on my front porch when I'd come home every evening. It was the little boys in my church in that Sunday school class that didn't have a dad, and their mom was there to pick them up, or their dad wasn't active in their lives. Their mom was the one who brought them to church. The mom was the one who was, bringing them to a Saturday morning where we might be taking the boys fishing or something. And, we can get real comfortable with just doing our father-son church boy events and not really pushing in. And what we wanted to do, especially after this last 4 days at this event, was to encourage you guys as part of what your 2022 mission is to go back after the boys that don't have dads. Go back after those guys. They are sitting in their rooms, especially with this crazy school still shutting down, all this stuff still happening. Go after those boys. Go to your women's Bible study. Get them to, or ask them to let you please come and speak for 5 minutes and just say, ladies, here's a flyer. Because they know who those single moms are in the community and in the church.
I'd even encourage you to, we've seen some churches do this, some of you have, maybe get that flyer and hand it out into your community. Some folks that aren't coming to your church and aren't going to come to church, but they would send their boy to an outdoor event with some men. Yeah, well, that'd be fun, and little Johnny's excited about it. And just remember why you're doing this, because I remember in some of those trainings early on, and even recently with a message we get from some of you, that this message was really stepped into a place where you were reminded of how badly you needed a guy. And so I want you to remember that as you go into 2022 and your mission for KOZ. Make sure you step back into that arena if you've kind of been distracted and it's just your church guys, their sons, your sons. I get it. It's easy to do. But remember that trailer park down the road. Remember that community next door to the church, or that mother's group, that ladies' Bible study. Just go to a women's Sunday school class or Bible study.
Yeah.
And get 5 minutes to hand them cards and saying, this is what we're doing. You might get some phone calls out of that.
Yeah, and I mean, we even talked about it early on in the studies, in the training, make up a flyer. Go put it in the laundry mats in the apartment complexes around your church. Go put it on the bulletin board at the feed store or at the grocery store. Go find these community places. Get on a community calendar on your radio stations and on your, and we can help you craft all that. We have a lot of it already done. All you got to do is call us or email Rick or I, and we'll pass on the information that you can give to them, and it'll get your phone to ring or your email to spool up with some moms who have little boys that are desperately looking for a man to put in their lives. And so, man, we were just coming off that event, and it was just glorious. And I can't tell you, I mean, it was so powerful because these guys are busy, they're thinking and they're passing by, and their continents changed when we said, hey, one question, Bob, who taught you to hunt and fish? I was like, oh, well, it was my dad or my grandpa. And then we'd go into a story with them on what that looked like and how that happened. And it's a life-changing experience. It's something that every boy longs for, and it'll change the heart of a man. It does change our hearts. So be firm and get in there and go after it. Have a good 2022.
What you're doing
curriculum.
What you're doing is critical. Just don't overlook the mission. Yet there's boys around you, and if you have any questions or you want to just be prayed over, there's nothing more exciting for us. So call in the office or reach out to us and let us get back to you. We'd love to pray with you. I
remember when Mrs. Graney, when Sandra was working for a ministry before we started ministry, and she worked for this super powerful ministry, and it was just a bunch of ladies, and they were working with women, and she was a volunteer, and I'd say, she'd go and she'd come back, and I'd say, so what'd you do today? And she'd go, oh, we prayed all day. And I'm thinking, how did you get anything done? How are you getting paper? And now, when we get a request from y'all, we have a big board. We have names on it, and we're praying for you guys, man. We want to pray for you. You need a prayer warrior. Your wife needs a prayer warrior, man. Call the office.
We're all in.
Man, we're all in. So anyway, guys, we love you. We care about you. We think about you. We pray for you. This is going to be a killer year. Let's go rescue some boys. Regulators.
Mount up.